Hey everyone, it's me Varlo. At long last, the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC is here. This has been one of the most anticipated gaming things this year. From the first trailer, I was just in awe about how great this DLC looked. As always, I wanted to share my first impressions of the DLC. Something I think that I should point out first is that I'm a filthy casual when it comes to Souls-like games. I've played Elden Ring and Dark Souls Remastered twice each, but that's where my expertise ends. My thoughts on Shadow of the Erdtree are from the perspective of someone who isn't particularly good or an expert with these kind of games. Before we get into the impressions, I also want to point out that my background footage features gameplay for the first sections of the DLC. The latest footage I will be showing is the second Remembrance boss fight, so just keep that in mind if you're trying to avoid spoilers. So without further ado, let's get into it. Something that struck a chord with me right away was the expansive new open world. I walked out into the very first area and saw a horizon of incredible areas, all of which I would soon be able to explore. The sheer amount of content that I've already seen in this DLC is staggering. It's basically its own little game. Also, from what I've seen, there's a great variety of different types of environments to explore. I was worried that Shadow of the Erdtree would just feel like more Elden Ring, but it really feels distinct and not just more of the same. It feels like the next logical step for Elden Ring. This DLC has also provided such a fun challenge for those who have mastered Elden Ring. Overpowered level 150 characters are now back to basics once you enter the Land of Shadow. I was surprised to see that I was getting 2-hit right out of the gate in the DLC. It's fun to not be absolutely steamrolling everything and have to actually master the moves and patterns of bosses and enemies to progress. While the journey has been hard so far, using the all-new Erdtree fragments and revered Ash blessings have helped to make it just a little easier. These are basically all-new stat bonuses that you find in a similar way to golden seeds in the base game. Erdtree fragments give you a permanent boost to your stats while in the Land of Shadow. Revered Ash blessings help to enhance your Spirit Ashes beyond the level 10 that they were previously capped at. Getting just a few of these is the difference between making bosses feel impossible and overcoming them. This also adds an extra layer to exploring this new DLC area because they're spread out all throughout the map. As of now, I've only done the first two Remembrance bosses, Divine Beast Dancing Lion and Rellana Twin Moon Knight. I've also done a few side bosses in the open world and in smaller dungeons. From what I've played, these bosses have all felt really fun and cool. I love their designs, music, and the fights themselves. Rellana especially has been a standout so far as a fun and exciting boss to challenge. I must admit that I'm a sucker for one-on-one sword fights in these kind of games, so my opinion is slightly swayed. But she was so much fun to conquer. I also really liked the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. He was definitely a skill check for me, with many attacks that I had to take a few attempts to learn to dodge. Considering these two bosses were really impressive, I'm excited to see what lies beyond the starting areas when it comes to bosses. While there's so much to rave about when it comes to Shadow of the Erdtree, one thing that I feel I have to point out is the game's performance. My PC isn't the greatest by any means, but the base game hardly gave me any trouble when it came to frame rate. Shadow of the Erdtree has given me a few micro stutters and frame drops which have been a minor inconvenience, but it's not the end of the world. I always feel weird pointing these things out because it's always hard to tell if it's just the game's optimization or if it's the machine it's being played on. Apart from those minor hiccups, my performance was solid except for one area I explored where I consistently ran at around 30 FPS. If it's just a quirk with the game, I'm sure it'll be ironed out, but if it's just my PC, then I'll just get good, I suppose. Obviously, it's still early days for Shadow of the Erdtree, but I really have had a blast playing it so far. If I'm being totally honest, Elden Ring is a game I've had a weird relationship with because at times it was a little overwhelming for me, but I really have enjoyed Shadow of the Erdtree from the time that I've spent with it. I think the smaller scale of it really did lend to my enjoyment. I can't wait to see how crazy this DLC gets as I get further along in it. In my eyes, this has been the perfect expansion for those who have mastered the base game and are looking for a new challenge to overcome. If that sounds like you, then I think this is a must-buy. Nowadays, $40 feels like a lot to ask for when it comes to DLC, but I think in this case it's well worth the price of admission. I couldn't recommend it more. Now I guess I'm out of time. I've got to get back to playing Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I hope you enjoyed this video and liked hearing my first impressions. If you were on the fence about buying this DLC, I hope that I cleared some stuff up for you. If you liked this video and want to see more like it, let me know down in the comment section, and if you didn't like it, you can let me know that as well. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it.